Hi there, welcome back to The Way and our Christmas series looking at what the Saviour is going to look like. We've already looked at the Garden of Eden, where he's going to send the serpent crusher to destroy the powers of evil forever. Then last week we looked at how God was not only going to focus his love and his attention and blessing on one person or one family or even one country. We saw how God was going to explode that through his Saviour to saving the whole world, and every family was going to be blessed. This week we're going to zip forward a little bit in time to the time of King David. King David was on the throne, and God had a really special chat with him about what was going to happen in the future. David wanted to create something that was going to last. So he offered to God that he was going to build God a temple. This came from a really good heart. So David wanted to make God really important and really special in the place where he lives. So he said, I want to make you a temple that's going to last forever. And God pulls David to the side and just says, hold on, I've never asked you to do that, because anything that you make is going to break, and it's going to die eventually. Even a temple is going to fall down, it's going to decay, something's going to destroy it. And God flips David's offer on his head. So he says, you're not going to build a temple for me, I'm going to build a temple. And he promises him something absolutely amazing. And God says, for when you die and are buried with your ancestors, I will raise up one of your descendants, your own offspring, and I will make his kingdom strong. He is the one who will build a house, a temple for my name, and I will secure his royal throne forever. So God says here that David isn't going to create a lasting house for God. God is going to send someone else to build a temple to God, which is going to last forever. So just to think a little bit more about this, and about the kings in the Old Testament. Saul was the first king that Israel ever had in the Old Testament, and he started off okay, but it tailed down quite quickly, and he got quite full of himself, and God replaced him as king with David, and David was Israel's second ever king. And in the Old Testament, David is far and away the best king that Israel ever had. And at this point in the Old Testament, you're kind of reading it going, this is a high point for the kings in the Old Testament, because after this come loads of kings, and every single one fails and fails and fails and fails and fails, and each one is worse than the last one, with a few exceptions. And I think this kind of just shows us what we're like as people, doesn't it? We're unreliable. We lie. We cheat. We're proud. We like things to go our way. We're self-centered, like all of those things. But when you're the king, when you're in power, all of those things are so on display, aren't they? And it's quite tempting when you're in a position of power to really go for it and to try and grab everything that you can. And as a king, all of those opportunities are open to you. So throughout the Old Testament, we see these kings who are frankly rubbish, but they're not any worse than you or I would be. And God's saying here that David's no different to that either. That David isn't good enough or strong enough, perfect enough. It says, when you're dead and buried, you are going to die one day, David. You are mortal, just like the rest of them. You're sinful, just like the rest of them. I need a king that is something different. And that's exactly what God promises. He says that he is going to send one of David's descendants to rise up to be king and to be king forever. He's going to establish his royal throne forever. And we know that that is Jesus. We know that Jesus is the king that God was sending. So at Christmas, when we look at the stable and we see Jesus born under that starry sky, and the wise men coming to welcome him as king, we see God's plan coming into action, and we don't just see a baby that's being born in the middle of nowhere in a stable. We see God's salvation plan finally taking place.